Yo, I don't really know why I'm going live right now. I've been kind of upset most of the day about bullshit with the government, to be honest. Like, I made a post on here and on Instagram about the gun community. I am a little pissed about that, but like in reality, it's like when you're super, super pissed at something and then someone flicks you, they might get the whole thing. It's kind of like that. You should really watch who you flick. That's a life lesson, really, for people. This video, however, is about the skeletool RX. Just one second. I wish this allergy, head cold bullshit, whatever the fuck it is, would end. It gets annoying. I think my weed makes it worse, but, you know. C'est la vie. Hi, cat. You want attention? He is sitting in the blinds because it's like super warm in there, and I have my house super cold right now because I don't feel good. That's a complicated story, but basically, for whatever reason, I'm not like everyone else when it comes to temperature. Like, I like it cold. And like, if I'm sick, freeze me. Get better faster. And like, that's weird. I'll admit that. And it's not every sickness or whatever, it's this shit. This, like, sinus shit. Well, come on. You just have to have attention. My cat is trying to figure out how he's going to jump to me. There you go. Okay, but that's, again, this video is about the skeletool RX, which I just got in the mail, and it's kind of pimp. Like, I don't know. I'm playing with it, my juice, and the rebar that I bought cheap on eBay all at the same time here, and I have thoughts. And my thought is basically this, that if you're buying one of these for a multi-tool, and you buy any skeletool, you're an idiot. Like, if you're buying this as a pair of pliers with a knife, that's what this is. Okay? That's what I wanted to go with my Swiss Army knife. And I think for that, it will work pretty well. But for a full duty multi-tool, like, this thing isn't as good as the juice. Flat out. It's about the same weight as the juice, and it's way less capable. Not that that's everything. Like, again, for my needs, this has the tools on it I want. But, like, isn't the idea of the skeletool supposed to be that it's light? Like, how is this thing this heavy? I get pliers, heavy, Roger, but honestly, I think they should have skeletonized the pliers. And you're like, oh, but they did. They did a little bit. I mean, like, they really, really should have gone at these things with a fucking end mill and hogged some fucking metal off them. There's unnecessary metal all over this fucking thing as in terms of the pliers head. And I know you're thinking, well, you need strong pliers. You might break the pliers. I've made a lot of shit out of steel, people. Trust me when I'm saying that you could fully skeletonize this thing into like an I-beam looking set of pliers, and you'd be amazed at what it would still be capable of. So somewhere between where it is and the I-beam pliers, like, is where this should have been. if that's where the weight is. I think some of the weight, honestly, is the back springs. I don't know how you kill that weight. It's not particularly heavy. It is a fairly lightweight thing, and if you think of it as pliers and a knife that you can carabiner to your climbing equipment, it's that. And for my needs, it is a cool rescue tool that has pliers on it and a bit driver, and I like everything about it. Like, it gives me a serrated blade, it gives me pliers, and it gives me the screwdriver bits set if I needed it, and the glass breaker, which is just always in there. The glass breaker to me is more interesting than the bit set. And as far as I'm concerned, the rebar or the Victorinox has enough bits for me. I doubt I will ever use this bit driver. Like if I am out without my rebar for some reason, like I've left it at home and I just have the skeletool in my pocket and the Victorinox in my purse, then the Phillips driver that's on this thing and the bit kit would be handy. And there is an extra bit that's stored on it. And I think I might order a bit specifically for this thing to have. Uh, Quarter-inch flat drive is the opposite of the glass breaker, and that's good. That's a size most people would want. They really should have done it and the Phillips. That's what I would want. I'll see if they sell that. I'll see if they sell one that has just some Phillips bits on it too. Because like my Swiss Army knife has flat drivers, and like if I could get a Phillips number 2 on the other end of the glass breaker, and then get a Phillips number 1 and a actually that's what this bit is. I have the Phillips number 1 and a 3/16 inch flat in my hand. That's the one that's in it. I think that's pretty much the one I'd want in it. But it's a Phillips 1 to 2. I don't know, but if I got a Phillips on this other thing, if they even make that, then I would want to ditch this one for other bits. But I'm going to play around with the bits that are in this thing. I bought the RX because I was going to buy the glass breaker bit anyway, so that saves me money, and I wanted the fully serrated blade. And the reason I wanted the fully serrated blade on the skeletool is this thing does not have that many tools. I'm going to be carrying it in addition to a like Spyderco pocket knife and a Swiss Army knife. So plain edges are already taken care of. As a result, I like the 154 cm serrated blade they put on this thing. It's the first skeletool I've seen that had a blade on it I would buy. The skeletool CX or whatever, it has an okay blade. It's not as cool as this one because like it's the same size. God, cat. And it's just a little clip point. Like I have a billion of those in my pocket. Like I know that's not everyone, but whatever EDC knife I'm carrying is that. And I know that's their point, is that this thing should take over for your EDC knife, but it just won't. And if it did for some reason, well, then I'll just rock the rescue blade that day. And again, like this isn't everybody. I got that, but I think they should just make a plain edge version of this that has a blade on it long enough to do something. Like, I don't know why they designed it with the world's smallest blade. Like, I have other critiques about this thing, but it's mostly that, like, this is made for a very specific end user in the climbing community that they wanted the most trimmed down multi-tool they could get with a full-size set of pliers on it, it looks like. And I think that entirely has to do with some sort of mountaineering shit. I'm not a mountaineerer, not a climber. I swim. I like forests. I like hiking. I honestly see very little point in going up above the fucking tree line. Like, don't get me wrong, it would be fun to go above the tree line and peek around and see it and go back down, but that's as climbing as I would get. So like any multi-tool will work for that. I like this thing as an EDC option because it really does tear off a lot of the shit that I don't need. Really, I need a pair of pliers and I needed a Phillips driver. The glass breaker is a definite bonus, and the serrated blade is a definite bonus. But I'm buying a Swiss Army Farmer X, and they added everything but pliers. If they had added pliers to it, it would do everything I need, pretty much. But in reality, the Swiss Army pliers suck. That Farmer X is already going to be a thick bitch. That's enough on that knife. I think the pairing that I'm trying to espouse now is the Farmer X and the Leatherman Skeletool RX as your pocket tools. Like have one in your pocket and one in your bag kind of thing. Like they're slightly different purposes. And like I said, neither of these is a weapon. And like whatever EDC blade I'm carrying is a weapon. So like these are like the tools. And I guess it's going to be like a 3-knife thing, which, people make fun of you for carrying a bunch of knives on you, but like the knife I'm going to get to go with this is going to be the Spyderco Manix 2 translucent blue. It's really lightweight. I found one of those I like. I'll buy that. I kind of want a paramilitary too. I might have those to go back and forth between. To Blazer, you have a paramilitary too. I think that was mine. I'll buy that back from you when my list of knives to buy gets back down into the realm of less ridiculous. There's a couple of things that I definitely want to get in the next few weeks, though, and after that, I'll worry about getting a paramilitary too from you. It seems silly to be buying pocket knives and shit, but like, I'm basically buying a couple of full EDC setups for myself to do various things, and then we'll see what we end up doing. And, perfecting the hand tools that are in my pocket is probably a decent idea. It's at least worth spending some money on. My current debate is the Skeletool RX was $90. Ouch. It's on Amazon. I can send it back. That's why we did that on Amazon. The Leatherman rebar I bought for $45 on eBay. It's mine, and I like it. What I'm trying to figure out now is how bad do I want to spend that $90, and will the rebar work for this? And my question then is, if the rebar is going to be in my pocket, why not keep the Farmer X as my backup purse knife? Keep my original Farmer as the backup purse knife and not get a Farmer X. Just rock the Leatherman. I don't know. I'm wanting cooler options though too, and that's part of this is I want the Skeletool because I've always wanted one. So like to me, I was looking at the CX or whatever, the regular carbon fiber one. It's $90 too. And I wouldn't buy the regular Skeletool because it sucks. It's stainless is stainless. It only comes with a combo blade, which I do not buy combo blades. I either want them all the way serrated or not serrated at all. Like, makes no fucking sense to have a combo blade except on some very, very niche stuff, in my opinion. It takes the working part of the edge and makes it unusable for most tasks. Thanks. And maybe that's from someone that does a lot of like carving with a Mora knife. I like to do that. So maybe that's just how I'm used to using a knife. But partially serrated blades fucking suck. The cool part about the skeletool is it looks like they have magnets to hold the blade in the thing. Like it has a liner lock, right? But it also has like two little magnets in the handle. Kind of dope. Also, I was thinking about it. The skeletool and the juice kind of came out of the same era of Leatherman, and that explains this thing a lot to me because it is very juice-like. That's not a comparison I've ever heard made about the skeletool, but it's like they made a little bit bigger juice set of pliers and a little bit better knife, and then went, what is the couple of other tools that we would need for mountaineering? Because that's what this is. This is, if you are carrying a juice as your EDC knife, this is an upgrade. That's what this is, I think. I think that's why I'm still attracted to it. It has the same like wrap around Leatherman logo things holding the backing springs that the juice does. And I like the red on the RX. First off, I like the idea of a rescue tool. It's cool. And like, I think the rescue tool version of this will eventually be worth more money. Not that that's the reason behind buying this particular model, but this is the one I want for many reasons. This is the cool one. This is the one people will want later. It's the one that I want now. That's one of those things like I was saying the other day that Past Me is a cool motherfucker. Past Me often spent the extra $20 and got the cool one. And like right now, I have backpacks and shit sitting around me that are worth a couple grand a piece. Past Me is a really cool motherfucker, guys. It's one of those things that when everything you buy is lusting after perfection in a piece of gear, you have a lot of extra shit that you've spent money on over the years. And that is one of several ways that I store money in case of collapse, basically. I like the kind of stuff that I like, and most of the stuff that I like can be sold at a gun show. Basically, everything that I like can be sold at a gun show. So, like, if worse comes to worse, if everything was fucking bad as shit, I would be going gun show to gun show with my fucking minivan, having a table full of shit, selling my wares. A lot of people be like, that's a horrible plan. It's a plan that no one can take from you. Right now, it seems to me like your car could be worth nothing tomorrow. Your money could be worth nothing tomorrow. Hell, even your guns could be worth nothing tomorrow on like the open market. You have to go on the black market, if they did a gun ban. So what's really worth something? Well, all of the shit that can be sold at a gun show readily and easily. Why? Because that's a group of men that make money. Men that make money buy the same shit. Like, people don't get that. I get that because I like grew up around these guys. But every fucking person in there that's selling shit is kind of king of their own little world as a result of the same reasons that I am. And all of the people buying shit in there work an oil field job or something like that, or work at a fucking aircraft maintenance plant or whatever. And they come in there looking for deals and they got money. And the thing is, like, can you make money selling stuff at full price? Yeah. But what's best to do, what I like to do, is I go junk shopping, thrift shopping, pawn shopping, and, I find the kind of stuff that I like, the diamond in the rough. That's what I look for. That's what I've made my killing on over the years, is like going to places where people did not want to go to get the thing. Uh, I used to be pretty badass. I don't hardly go anywhere anymore because, like, the world, basically, everybody's fucking crazy. And, there's places I do go. I went to dinner last night with my grandma and my uncle. We went shopping at Ross Dress for Less, and I got a meat cleaver. It was $8, and it was Tiffany blue from Cuisinart. So I thought that was good. I wanted it for my kitchen, but to be honest, now it speaks to me. It speaks to me that it must have the name that has scared 1,000 men. I want to engrave penis chopper into the side of one side and like a severed dick crudely into the other side, and then tiger stripe the whole thing and fucking like modify its sheath that it has to be like worn on a fucking lanyard or something. Like, yeah, make it crazy. Make it like the ceremonial fucking dick chopping knife. And if you're wondering, like, why would you do that? Here you go. In the end of the world, there's many ways that you can get your point across. I intend to use sheer fucking fear. Because, like, I am a hell of a lot more comfortable with some things than some people are. And you really think a trans woman would have any compunction at all about chopping your dick off? Now imagine that she's gone through the shit to make a ceremonial blade for it out of a fucking $8 Cuisinart thing. I know what I'm doing. It's not so much for chopping dicks off as it is an interrogation tool. I might have to occasionally chop a dick here or there, but it's not the goal. I guess technically I already have a sword. I could make the sword the dick chopper, but like the fucking bullshit $8 Cuisinart meat cleaver from fucking Ross Dress for Less and Tiffany blue, tiger striped and fucking crudely engraved with chopped penises and shit and hash marks all over it. Holy shit, that would scare the fuck out of somebody. That's my thought. That's the other knife I got. I said that on something else the other day, but like, it's a good idea. I think I did that in at least one video yesterday. I do multiple videos on multiple topics, and like the way I do these is I have kind of a loose plan and I ramble. And if I hit a topic more than once, it's assuming that not everybody watches all the videos. I hate to talk about things a whole bunch of times, but like something like that knife where it's funny and fits in with what we're talking about because we're talking about knives, I'm 100% going to tell that story here. And that's kind of what I'm trying to develop is like different shows to talk about different things. and I need to like make title cards for those or something and get some of this worked out how I want to do some of this. But like up till now, it's been like be ranting at the universe and trying to stay on topic and seeing what we're gonna fucking talk about. I've got some better idea of like what the show's gonna be now, and you know, very little guns. That's one thing. I am liking doing the knife thing. I'm liking talking about knives on the internet, and people actually seem to be liking it. I never spoke about knives on here much at all because I did a couple videos early on, and no one was really interested. But I think most people didn't get that I was a knife maker. Am a knife maker. Like I still have all the shit in my garage right now that I could go make a knife technically. My sanding would be bad. Let's put it that way. I might be using hand files right now. But that's a result of I bought the wrong grinder and it was great or whatever. But my choices were have a grinder that's huge and hard to move and uses 220, and spend more money to make it the thing that you need, or sell that bitch, have more cash to prepare right now, and worry about a way to grind knives later. That's what I did. And my plan for grinding knives is basically that I like to forge the shape. So I'm using it mostly as a sharpener, and that I can get a pretty cheap rig to do that. There's a few other things I needed to do too, but I could get a really cheap machine to do them because it's mostly handle work, and you know, my old 6x48 belt sander did fine, but I sold it too because it was like on its last legs, and someone would give me $100 for it. I'm like, okay, you got it. Because like to replace that exact unit, I could probably do that for a couple $100 with something of similar quality that was brand new, and or downsize on belts to 4x36s or something like that and get a little one of those. I don't know. It's debatable. I like a wide belt to do handles with. I got used to doing that because I had that 6x48 there handy. And if you have a 6x48 horizontal belt sander just sitting there, eventually you'll try a handle on it. Trust me, it's a giant flat thing that sands things. It does a really good job of it. And basically, the conclusion that I came to was that I needed to spend about $1,000 on one of those, and I needed to spend about $400 on something to sharpen blades with, something like that. I don't know which one of those I'm going to do yet. I need to find the one that has the right setup. And I'm not really worried about that right now because I got 1,000 other things to do. And at the end of the day, I have a $30 Harbor Freight belt sander out there that it was retired to be the power strop. It's the first one I ever had. It barely runs. And I ground something on it just a few days ago. Forget what that was. What was I grinding? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Uh, I like I like making knives, but like the rough part about that is basically I'm kind of too fucked up to do it all the time. And that's kind of what started my own personal journey into fitness and losing weight and transitioning ultimately is I was making knives because I was so bored and needed to make money and couldn't do anything else, didn't want to do anything else, and realized that I was not physically capable to keep doing the thing that I was doing. So I was like, okay, well, let's focus hardcore on dieting. for like a year. And kind of front of my mind was I want to come out to my family and I want to transition. And step one is lose weight. And like that was one of those things. It's like no matter what, step one was lose weight. So whatever got me there, you know, I was 630 pounds. And you know, a lot of people hear that and they're like, Jesus Christ, like, because they weigh like 100 or something. So right now, I weigh 350 and I am considerably skinny for me. Ugh, I'm 6'5", and yeah, I'm just big. I have never lifted weights once in my life, and until I started taking hormones to transition, I was the strongest person that you'd ever met, pretty much, and I'm still pretty goddamn strong for most men, much less for girls. And some of it's like this, I don't know. I'm like a genetic anomaly or some shit. And I kind of hate the fact that I'm tall and big. I wish I was anything else. But occasionally in life, it has come in handy. And the times that it has come in handy is pretty much any time anyone ever tried to fuck with me after the second grade, third grade, somewhere in there. I hit my growth spurt then. I've been, you know, over 6 foot since then. Yeah. Like since I think it was third or fourth grade, somewhere in there, I hit 6 foot. And that was unusual. And somewhere in like seventh or eighth grade, I hit 6'5". And like that was the point where which up until that point I had had bullies in my life. Never again. The bullying had been less actually since I had fucking handed some kid his teeth at some point, but like even with that, just the sheer fucking presence of being that much bigger and taller than everyone else, no one picks on you. And if they did, I made fun of them usually. That's why I'm so funny. Is I didn't want to kill people. And I am big enough that like in 6th grade, I literally could have punched one of those kids and killed them with a single blow. I knew this. I knew this because in 2nd grade, I had gotten so angry at a teacher that I punched a 4x4 post with my bare hand and broke it and broke my hand. So when you're like, how do you know X, Y, or Z? Because I've punched shit so hard that I broke myself because I'm a psycho. Like, that's, not one of my more favorite stories, but it does serve to illustrate a point. That's one of those things that, like, I think a lot of people don't like me because I hold whatever opinions I hold. They hold whatever opinions they hold. I am unshakable in mine, and there's nothing that they could physically do to intimidate me. And because I'm not used to being physically intimidated at all via the internet, I'm never that way. Ever. Ever. Like, sorry. Like, There are some people that could legitimately like just beat the shit out of me if they wanted to. But that's, assuming a great many things. That's assuming that they have the balls to ever even fucking do it, and that if they did, I didn't have a plan. You don't have to fight me. I don't fight usually. You have to fight my plan. This is how I learned to be. And the combination of 6'5" and retard strong and able to come up with a plan like that and stick to it, it's bad. It's bad news for you. And this is in a nutshell why so much of what I say on the internet is directed at meatheads with guns. Because it's sort of like you think you are the scariest thing out there. I know. I've met you. Many of the gun community are this way. In reality, they have never met me in the penis chopper. They don't even know that we exist. And like you're like, oh, they won't ever encounter that in their real life. Well, how's the world going thus far? I'm going to say that there's a lot more people that are a little up for violence, a little more up for violence than some of y'all, especially the gun community. It's like the biggest fucking group of sheep in the world. I'm sorry that you are sheep, but you are sheep. That's my opinion. And that comes from this fear of losing your gun rights because of, X, Y, or Z. And like, you can't do this, you can't say that, you can't, if I have to, fill out a 4473, I can't check any of those boxes wrong. That kind of shit. Where I'm just like, okay, whatever. Have fun talking about Red Dawn. I'm gonna go back to, I don't know, figuring out how I'm gonna live through this collapse. Because I'm going to. Like, this is the thing again, a lot of people don't get is there's a whole bunch of people in this country that you can fuck with because of their conditioning. And eventually, I think that conditioning is going to break. And I think when it breaks is when we're seeing these snaps of violence. And I think they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and involve multiple people. Like, I was watching Predator 2 the other day, and the city was so bad that like a gang was robbing the fucking train, and two cops were on it, and the uh, the guys robbing the train or whatever pulled out their guns. The police pulled out their guns, and then everyone else on the train pulled out their guns. That is the point at which we are at in society. A mass shooter tried to shoot up a mall, and some nerd shot him with a Glock 19. And it's all over the news. And that's going to be more and more of a thing. At a certain point, it's going to be hard to ignore the overwhelming amount of these that are going to get stopped by people with fucking guns. That's my opinion. Like, I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of being told that I'm the bad guy. Like, if that's their whole narrative in this, is that I'm the bad guy and you're the bad guy and all the Republicans are bad guys and we should just pack up and go home and like chop our dicks off and kill ourselves. That's the Democrat message. At this point, I own guns to protect me from two groups of people. One is the Nazis that are out there that hate trans people, whichever fucking group of Nazis you want to talk about, whether that's real Nazis or just people that just don't like trans people to the point that they are cool with violence. I don't like them at all. And the other group that I don't like at all, fuck, which was the point of what I was saying, and it completely went away. Thanks, weed. Anyway, uh, I like the skeletool RX. Maybe it'll come back to me. I I don't know if it's the tool for everyone. I think it is kind of the tool for me in that it does everything I need a multi-tool to do. That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It has exactly the things that I need to go with my Swiss Army knife. And like maybe that's the intention here is like all of these mountaineering people and backpacking people that they're trying to sell this to, they are already carrying a Swiss Army knife. And now they're like, wouldn't you like a pair of pliers with a better knife blade on it to go with it? Why, yes, I would. I really have no idea what I was talking about before. It probably doesn't matter. The liberals do annoy the fuck out of me, though. Especially like Nancy Pelosi. It's the holier than thou fucking attitude while being a rich fat cat industrialist. That's really what it is. Like, the Democrat Party right now is half Bernie Sanders and half Nancy Pelosi. And those two don't go together, folks. Like, the Democratic Party is a bunch of fucking, it's a bunch of lesbians banging cunts against each other. Like, it just doesn't work. I say that as a proud lesbian. At least I was when I was dating Dakota, for sure. I'm really complicated. I like girls. I like guys. I like anything in between. You know, everyone has their appeal. And as long as you're cute and interesting to talk to and hung, who am I to judge? That does eliminate a lot of women, that last part. But to be honest, that's highly negotiable. That's one of those things that I don't think men would fully ever understand about a lesbian relationship is like no one's fucking anyone. At least not in everyone. I guess there are some lesbian relationships where someone's the man and someone's the woman. That was not my experience ever. Like I had a best friend that I hung out with and shared clothes with and fucked that I trusted with everything. And it was nice. Fucking lesbians. The only part that, sucks about that is the severe lack of dick. But luckily, science has an answer. Thanks, silicone. You can buy a dick in whatever shape you want now. If you really want to have fun, go look at Bad Dragon dildos. I don't own any of those, but I have seen them in porn before, and wow. And that's, you don't judging me for being super freaky or whatever. No, I just watch girls that I think are hot, and eventually they start doing crazier and crazier shit. It's, you know, I'm not gonna say no. Like, oh no, I don't want to see you get raped by a fucking, you know, silicone centipede that's 3 feet long. Not gonna click on that video. Thanks, internet. I think that's really one of the things about this world is like the internet has made everyone much more freakier than they actually ever were. Some of us were always like this. I was. But like the internet helped like educate, definitely. I don't know how to feel about that. Like I think kids are just growing up with full access to the internet now. Like my nephew has a phone that was his dad's, has full internet on it, does whatever he wants, downloads shit, plays games. At the point that he's doing that, he's literally doing whatever he wants whenever he wants on that thing. And either, you know, that, turns up in an interest of like watching too many videos of Cutlery Lover and collecting knives and coins and lighters and shit, or any one of 100 other places, including Taliban and transgender. Not that those necessarily go together. They don't really. It would be hilarious to start a YouTube channel with like a couple of trans girls and wear hijabs and just like claim to be the transgender Taliban and do comedy videos. Like, no, don't have any guns or do anything like that, but like make it like comedy sketch things of us like protesting. That'd be great. Be like the ultimate troll. And what are you exactly? Yes, we are the transgender Taliban. We are very inclusive here in America. We are here to recruit you. Would you like to join ISIS? We would get off of the air so fast. Speaking of that, like I was watching YouTube and it was like movie videos or whatever, and like the next one that popped up was Joe Blow talking about what was that movie called? Tropic Thunder. I forgot how much I like that movie. Uh, my girlfriend had never seen that movie because she's a part of the left or whatever, and I thought that that was a movie everybody saw. And apparently, like the right saw it a lot, but like there's this whole crowd of the left that didn't ever go see fucking Tropic Thunder because it had blackface in it or because it made fun of retarded people. It's one of the funniest movies ever made, and if that movie is not funny and not, socially acceptable, then I'm sorry. There's a major problem in America. I'm not espousing blackface. I'm not espousing making fun of retarded people, but you never go full retard. You never go full retard. It's one of the funniest movies ever made. Like, it's making fun of Hollywood at every turn, which is why they didn't like it. And the best part to me is like the thing that made me like Tom Cruise yet again is I heard that Les Grossman was his, like, I will do this movie and use my influence to help get it made and whatever, but I want a part. And Ben Stiller's like, well, yeah, no problem. And this is what that part's going to be. And he told him about Les Grossman. And Ben Stiller was like, I love it. And I think that they were doing a character assassination of someone with that movie. And I think it was Harvey Weinstein, a couple other people too. Like that guy was an amalgamation of people that they think is what's wrong with Hollywood. And they're right. I think they're right. I just love that his condition for helping with the movie is I need to be in it and I have to play this role. And apparently he wrote that role. Basically, that guy wasn't in the movie. He was like they when they went to Tom Cruise, he's like, what do you think the studio heads would be doing back at home? And that's where that character came from. And it was his idea to do the dancing and the big hands, the bald wig, the whole thing. I think that's pretty dope. Like, I'm not, you know, the biggest Tom Cruise fan because he kind of went crazy there for a bit, but like, sadly, I think he's one of the good ones, and it makes me wonder about Scientology. Like, is it he believes this way and he's a part of this evil cult and he really doesn't have anything to do with them? I want to go talk to Scientologists now because, like, I'm legitimately concerned that they believe what they believe, and yet Tom Cruise is so cool. I'm not saying I'm going to go join Scientology. I'm saying maybe we need to like find Tom Cruise and evangelize or something. Or, get him to join the Church of the Rifle or something. Be funny. I I just couldn't believe that he pretty much did that entire character all on his own. That was his addition to the movie. It's like I love it. I love every minute of it. But this, and this don't make sense. And we could have cut scenes back to the studio where I am sending in whatever it is. Yeah, it's great. Also, what's his face? The blackface. Uh, Tony Stark. God, what is his name? Robert Downey Jr. In that movie. He does so much more than blackface in that role. That is why he gets away with blackface. There is not a black person on earth that watched that and did not go, right on. At some point in that. Because, like, it's a whole commentary on the fucked up racism of Hollywood. Like, I'm not saying like his whole role is that, but everyone else's interactions with his character in the movie, like in that movie, he's not a good guy. You're not really supposed to like him. He's one of the most fucked up ones in the whole thing. And like he is the thing that is the movie, really, in a lot of ways. There's several conversations about Hollywood being had, but they're having conversations about like race in Hollywood, money in Hollywood, um, Hollywood in Hollywood, the effect of porn on Blu-ray versus HD DVD. Like that movie was made for Quentin Tarantino to watch while he was renting fucking VHS tapes. If you don't know, before Quentin Tarantino made movies, he was a clerk at a video store and just sat around watching bad movies all the time. Tropic Thunder was made for him. That's if I could have anyone on as a guest now to talk about something, it would be hard not to say him on several things, but like To talk about the movie Tropic Thunder with Quentin Tarantino would be hilarious because he's deep enough in Hollywood that he's going to get a bunch of the jokes. And like, I get some of the jokes. I do not get all of the jokes in that movie. And that's the thing, is there are so many referential jokes made. I don't think anyone could. But like, one person that would stand a pretty good chance of interpreting all of them, I think, would be Quentin. And that's just from all of his movies and his love of movies and ever listening to him talk. I would love to hear his take on that movie. I think my favorite part of that whole movie is what kind of gun you carrying? I don't know its name. I only know the sound it makes when it takes a man's life. Like, if you're in the gun community, you've met that guy. 100%. Hell, some of you might be that guy. Fucking hilarious. Actually, if you're watching me, there's no way you're that guy. You're a nerd. God struck me down for calling you a nerd. Sorry. That wasn't even a weed cough. What that was. Well, I think I'm going to call it good on that. I like the Skeletool RX. I think I'm keeping it. I'll do at least another video on this topic. Probably without so much other shit thrown in. See you guys later.